Hey everybody, this is my 55-gallon Gourami tank. Although I realize at the moment we are looking at my angelfish. And I'm not 100% sure what this video is even really going to be about. I'm probably going to title it something like an update on my Gourami tank or something like that. I'm considering shooting a video. In fact, I'm planning on shooting a video about angelfish and why I love them and why I think they are great beginner fish. And I'm basically just going to sing the praises of angelfish for a little while. And for that video, I'm going to attempt to make my first video with B-roll footage and so on and so forth. Again, my regular viewers will know that I'm trying to work on my video editing skills. I have acquired some video editing software and I need to practice using it. And so that's what I was doing. I was down here just shooting some video of the angelfish to acquire B-roll for that video. And I thought, it's just such a pretty fish, and this tank is starting to come together so nicely that I would just share a few minutes with everybody and just talk about my Gourami tank for a little while, because I am not ever going to be able to get that video I was just talking about put together and posted and everything tonight. So tonight's video will be a fairly impromptu look at my Gourami tank here. I will say I did lose one Gourami. I had 8 of the little pearl Gouramis you can see swimming all over the place in here, which I'm really happy about. I'm really enjoying these pearl Gouramis. But yesterday when I came down, there was one on the bottom. It didn't look like anything was particularly wrong with it. It wasn't bloated. Its colors weren't washed out or anything. But it was really small. Definitely like a runt size, kind of small. You know, a couple of them were really small when I brought them home from the fish store, as a lot of times they will be. But the smaller ones grew a little bit. You know, they got a little bit of size to them. That one there is probably one of the smaller ones that came home from the fish store. And the one that died simply did not look any bigger than the day I brought it home. It was a tiny little thing. So I'm assuming something was wrong with it and it just never really took, and it just, you know, it lasted as long as it did and then it finally died. And so this one here is definitely the dominant male of the tank. I'm hoping I will get more coloration out of the other males, but if he's the only one that really colors up, I'll be okay with that. And I've never really seen a male pearl Gourami in its full spawning colors, but I believe that ventral fin there, or anal fin, becomes almost like a skirt. It becomes really long and elaborate and colorful, and I'd really like to see that. I'm very happy with my water sprite placement. I've had to actually trim it down a little bit. It's getting big quickly. And I liked it so much, in fact, that I reduced the amount that I have floating in this tank and tucked another little piece under the rock on this side. So I'll probably always have some floating. Fish like Gouramis like to have some kind of cover above them. It gives them sort of a sense of protection, I guess. In the wild, you would want cover from predators from above, you know, wading birds or even flying birds. I've got a lot of kingfishers around here, and if you're busy hiding underneath of vegetation, you can kind of protect yourself from that. So having floating vegetation in a tank is a great comfort to a lot of fish, especially fish like Gouramis or even the live bearers, the types of fish that spend a lot of time near the surface. I think intuitively just like to have something to you know, shelter under, floating on the surface. So I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. This tank's probably going to get really green and bushy, which is mostly just going to be that water sprite in there, but whatever. Green and bushy is green and bushy as far as I'm concerned. I don't care if I've got any real wild exotic plants or a huge variety or anything like that. I've got a bright colorful tank with lots of green growing in it, and that's all I really care about. That's all I want. So that's about all I can think of as far as update wise. And again, the real focus of this video is kind of looking at my angelfish here. I get so many compliments on this angelfish. This angelfish, well, all my angelfish now at this point are mixed veils, I guess, or assorted angelfish. Is there either one or the other? This one was probably considered a mixed veil, and that is because of the long flowing fins. The one I have in my 125 gallon tank would also be considered a mixed veil because of these long flowing fins. And I love how you get all of the little filaments and everything that develop on the fins. So that's a sure sign that it's in a tank without any fin nippers. Whenever you've got those kind of filaments that develop and are able to stay intact like that, those things are so fine and delicate, they can almost break off from the fish just dashing and darting to swim away. They don't even have to be nipped off. They will just break off. And yet you can see they're still fully intact on this fish. So very, very low stress life for that angelfish there. But the veils are the long tails like this, and then just regular old assorted angelfish would be angelfish more like this one. Has more of that traditional stockier body style and the less elaborate fins. And this one too is simply an assorted angelfish. I've owned plenty of expensive angelfish over the years, and I've got nothing against them, and I have no doubt that I will again own more expensive ones in the future. But I also learned a long time ago that if you're not worried about having a fancy brand name on your angelfish, and all you really care about is having a pretty angelfish, and you don't care whether it's called something fancy or not, then if you get your eye in and you're patient, you can find some amazing angelfish at your local PetSmart or Petco or whatever your, wet pets or whatever that's called over on the other side of the pond there. Your big chain store. You can find really, really beautiful angelfish for not a lot of money. This one tends to hide a lot, but whenever we do really get a good look at it, this one's a stunner. This one's actually worth trying to put a little food in the tank, see if we can get it to come out and say hello. Give me half a moment here, and as soon as the food goes in, we should see it come on over. Although this is really not the time of day for food to go in the tank, so it doesn't really know what's going on. There it goes. So this is one of the favorite angelfish I've bought in a long time. It is really, really pretty. If it would ever come to the front of the tank where the lights are and get underneath the light, you'll see it's got some blue traces in there. It's got that really dark, smoky look. And it's even got some little traces of almost purple in there. I've never seen that sort of black midnight purpley sort of color on an angelfish before. I've seen the blue. You get that sort of iridescent blue coloration on angelfish fairly often, but I've never seen a really dark, like midnight purple kind of color. And you only see it occasionally. It's got to be right under the light, and of course it probably wouldn't come out properly on camera anyway, so your loss. It is an amazing looking fish. And I guess finally, since we're looking at all the other angelfish I got around here, we'll have a quick look at this one. This tank's not exactly in show condition at the moment, but this is another one that is just a really fantastic angelfish. It's just enormous. So this one's in a 125 gallon tank, and I honestly don't know which one is bigger. The one we were just looking at was in a 55. Well, not the smoky colored one, that was in a 29. The original one we were looking at, that big long flowy fin one, was in a 55. This one's in a 125. And so proportionately it doesn't look any bigger than the other one, but if we were to put this one in a 55, I suspect it might suddenly seem even bigger than we're already thinking it looks. It's not, it's not a small fish by any means. And again, it's a mixed assorted veil, or whatever they're called, and I probably paid $4.99 or $5.99 for it. And it is just an absolutely stunning, amazing angelfish. So, believe it or not, that is not going to be my video in praise of angelfish. I will still shoot that video. once I get this tank cleaned up a little bit, we'll get some B-roll of this, and then I can start working on putting that together, and hopefully here real soon we'll start getting some, you know, more elaborate videos with some better editing behind them. So, all right, everybody, make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss whatever I'm talking about. Plus, I got all kind of other good stuff coming up. We're going to be doing some live streams here in the near future. I've taken a poll as to when you would like to see a live stream, if I do a regular weekly live stream, and I've got some ideas about that, so we'll be talking about that coming up soon, and so on and so forth. So make sure you're subscribed. Don't forget I have memberships available, and of course I always appreciate any super thanks I get. So thanks for watching this one, and I look forward to seeing you real soon on the next one.